Lead us off, Bill.
All right. So you're into kind of game prep mode. How did practice go today?
Went good. You know, it's always a lot on their plate. First day of school, getting into class and getting into that routine. But I thought they handled it well. Light practice, Monday type of practice, and tomorrow we'll get after it quite a bit more than what we did today.
Your defensive front, we've talked a lot about it through camp. How has it developed through camp for you, and is it everything you had kind of hoped coming into the season?
Yeah, so far, we haven't played anybody yet, but so far, based on practices and how they're performing, against our offense, it's very good. And we got 6 tackles that we really like, 5 defensive ends, and that's a lot of bodies. 11 deep essentially at our 11 bodies that can play at the front spot.
Lecky was named preseason All-American today by ESPN. When you were recruiting him out of high school, did you see this as his ceiling, or has he maybe exceeded where you thought he might be?
He was a very intriguing kid coming out of high school. He was 6'5" or 6", whatever he is. He was only about 265 at that time, but we had an inclination that he was going to be special, and he just kept getting bigger and stronger, and in the meantime didn't lose any of his mobility. He's just as agile now as he was back then, and so I'm going to say it's not surprising that he's where he's at, but it was no guarantee, obviously.
At least coming out of high school and now.
I didn't say dominate the whole thing. I
have one more, and then I'll let whomever jump in.
Right.
At least coming out of high school and now in college, are there comparisons that are fair between he and Haloti Ngata?
Wow. You're talking about a 14-year NFL vet.
I'm talking about high school, because you recruited Haloti out of Highland, and you saw him play in college. I'm not talking about pro career yet.
I think the ceiling for Lecky is still way up there. He hasn't reached it yet. Haloti, one of the best defensive linemen to ever play in the NFL. Over a long period of time. So that's some good company and some good guy to be compared with. But I think at this stage, to answer your question, there are a lot of similarities. But Lecky's got a lot to work on, and he knows that. And if he continues to have the work ethic and the attitude he has right now and stay healthy, then I think the sky's the limit for the kid.
Number 14 national ranking, highest preseason in this program's history. I know you got to prove it on the field, but what does that say about how far this program has come to get?
It says a lot. It says a lot about the national respect that we've been able to earn, and it doesn't mean anything for this season. Doesn't help us at all. I think it's more a testament of what we've been able to do for the last decade, and it's a good accolade for our players, for our team. But again, it's once the season starts, that's all in the rearview mirror, and it all hinged upon our performance.
Yeah, but how about the fact that other teams see that and then maybe a little more juice for that?
Yeah, that's another. There's pros and cons to it, and that's another. Puts a target on your back is what it does, but that's fine. You got a target on your back anyway because we won the South last year, so I think that it's not a huge factor.
I know you addressed this on Saturday, but is there a cooler thing as a head coach than to award walk-on scholarships?
That's among the coolest things, yeah. Winning games, awarding scholarships to walk-ons is it's great to see these guys come into the program for the love of the game, the sheer love of the game, because they're not getting anything out of it monetarily, and to work hard for 2, 3, sometimes 4 years, and then finally get rewarded at the end after some, a great deal of perseverance. That's very rewarding to see.
Has Jordan Wilmer's performance surprised you at all in fall camp?
Not at all. We studied tape. I personally studied a lot of tape on him in high school because we had some other backs that were in the mix that we were debating on who to really put our efforts into, and I just loved the kid in high school. I just saw him do things that were very special and very rare. And so, no, he hasn't surprised me at all. It's what we had hoped for. He's exactly what we had hoped for.
Is game prep practice sharpen the focus a little bit more compared to the end of camp?
I think so, because during camp, a lot of the time you're just, you hate to say it, but in survival mode, which you try to avoid. You don't want to be in survival mode, but the bottom line is that it's a grind, and sometimes you're just trying to get through it. But now, the game is in sight. What are we, 10 days out, and it's right there. You have the chance to really hone in on the opponent only. There's nothing else going on but getting ready for your opponent.
Would it impress you to know that a team on this campus is opening the season at Clemson and Alabama.
That would impress me to know that. Who is
Women's soccer.
Women's soccer? That is very impressive. That is very impressive. One of those dates.
Thursday and
This
Sunday.
Thursday.
Well,
Okay.
you'll probably
we'll
play
be
both
waiting
of them this year, right?
on. The soccer teams?
No. Clemson and Alabama.
Oh, well, we'll see what happens. Yeah.
On the final day of fall ball, you kind of mentioned that linebackers are still kind of battling. Is there one accountable guy that you can sit here and say, yeah, he's doing this great?
Yeah, we have 5 guys that we think are getting to the level we need them at. Well, first of all, the starters are right where we need them as far as Francis Bernard and Devin Lloyd. They've had an outstanding fall camp. Sione Lund behind him and Trenton Carlson, those next two are doing a great job. Then Andrew Mataafa was slowed by some injuries in fall camp, but he's back now 100%. And then Moroni Anai. So those are the 6 that we're focusing on.
And Francis Bernard, I mean, last year he got a lot of playing time, but not starting, and now you're leading him to start. What about him makes him strong?
Well, he's got great instincts. He's one of the, he's in the same mold as Cody and Chase as far as his football IQ and the way he approaches the game, his film study. He has a great deal of passion for the game, and he's one of our best leaders. He didn't get elected captain. If he would have been here probably for more time, he probably would have. But he is right in the same category, leadership-wise, as those captains are.
Any clarity on linemen 7 through 10?
Say that again.
Offensive linemen 7 through 10. Any?
Yeah, Simi Mwala would probably be number 7 right now. Who else? Paul Miley, probably number 8, and then 9 and 10 are still kind of jockeying for position.
Have you made inquiries? Oh, no, go ahead, Mike.
How the offense is shaping up and just what Andy's brought to the offense so far?
I'll tell you, the offense is very sharp right now. Very few errors. The execution level is very good. The players really seem to, I've said it over and over, they seem to have really bought into what's going on, and they're all on the same page. The attitude is great over there, the focus, the concentration. I mean, you just see it in practice. There's nobody that's not just locked into what's going on. So I feel good about what we've done so far, but again, as in everything else throughout the program, we haven't played anybody yet.
What can you tell me about Devin Brumfield and his progression since being here last year?
Yeah, Devin is a guy that came in as a true freshman. Did some good things for us. Had some playing time. He's just taken another step this year. It started in spring. He's got his body bigger, stronger. He's faster, and so he's a guy that you talk about, a guy that is all business. He's as hard a worker as we have on the football team, and he'll have a role this fall for sure.
How did you see Orlando Umana handle that shift to center last year?
Very well. He's a guy that really made a smooth transition to that. He's worked hard, and the real difference is snapping the ball. Just the mechanics of snapping the ball before you're able to get in your assignment. And so he's a guy that we feel very good about, and has had a very consistent spring and a very consistent fall camp. And we think he's going to be a good player for us this fall.
Speaking of snappers, how's Keegan doing for you?
Good, really good. Both him and Noah are doing good. We've got 2 really good snappers. They're battling for a position right now. Keegan has the edge.
How did you get him in the first place? Do you remember?
He transferred from a team in Michigan. I want to say Central
yeah.
Michigan. Yeah, Central Michigan. And was just looking for a place, change of scenery, and sent us his tape. And he looked like he was a guy that would be in the mix. And he's gotten. I'll tell you one thing. He's gotten a lot better since he got on campus. When he got here, he was pretty good, but now he's outstanding. With those type of things.
Any grad transfers who might not currently be playing who would be immediately eligible?
Not that we have our eye on. You never know. The transfer portal's got additions still, each day. But right now, nobody that we're honing in on.
Have you picked somebody up in that tryout before, like that stands out?
We have. There's been several through the years, but not in that particular one. We have 2, spring and fall, and we seem to have more success in the one in the spring than we do in the one in the fall.
Kyle, I was talking to Britton yesterday, and he said he was a little frustrated that this summer he couldn't spend honing his craft. He was more about rehabbing and getting back. How was his situation? Do you feel like
he's in a great spot
sharp?
Right now. He's sharp. He's healthy, and he's obviously he would have liked to have been running the player run practices and all that all summer with the guys, but just wasn't able to do that. But we feel he's made up all the ground that he missed out on due to the injury.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, guys.